Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 ZR2. This truck is finished off in slate gray metallic. MSRP is just over $77,000. Now this truck is powered by the 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8. It's paired to the 10-speed automatic, pumping out 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. That power is primarily sent to the rear wheels. However, this has the four-wheel drive system. It weighs in around 5,700 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds with a top speed of 114 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 24 gallons, and you'll expect to see around 20 miles per gallon in the city, 22 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 147.5 inches. Its overall length is 232.7. It has a width of 81.2, a height of 78.6, and its ground clearance measures in at 11.2 inches. It gains that extra ground clearance with the ZR2 package, which provides it with about a 2-inch lift kit along with those 33-inch tires. Now, as we work our way back to the front end of this truck, it has a very large presence to it. You'll notice that the Chevy badge is also hollow with the red accents. There's a forward-facing camera just underneath that, ZR2 badge over on that driver's side, as well as plenty of cutouts in both the lower section of the grille and that upper strip there. Now this also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals, and it also has LED fog lights, which are in the lower section of the bumper, where there's also a lot more gloss black, and then there's a brush trim accent in the lower section with skid plates up underneath, 2 red tow hooks, which match the red accents for the ZR2 package, and then a massive hood bulge that is finished off in gloss black with the 6.2 liter badge on both sides. A lot of contoured lines throughout the entire front end. And then it also has the bumper cutouts up front. Just to give it a little bit better of an approach angle, this isn't a truck that you're taking off the pavement, but it is nice to see that you do have some of those functionalities. Now, coming back to the side, we have those 33-inch tires along with the 17-inch wheels, the multimatic suspension, which is going to give this a great on-road performance, as well as off-road if you do have to take this off the pavement. It also comes with the steel side steps. There's power folding side mirrors with the spotlight and the camera underneath. There's also a sunroof up top. All of the window trim is blacked out, which matches nicely with the gloss black door handles. And then here's a look from the side with the subtle lines that run down it, including the one along the bed side there. And then in back, we have the black bow tie with the chrome accents. There's a camera system. You have the backup camera with all of the sensors as well. There's gloss black in the bumper with the cutouts on both sides. So you can use those along with the grab handle to enter and exit the bed from the side if you need to. This is also capable of towing right around 9,000 pounds, and we do have remote start. So you can lock this vehicle, double tap this, and you can start it up. You can also hold on this as well if you need to shut it off for whatever reason. Now this also has the locking tailgate, so you do have to unlock it. You can use the button on the key fob or the one on the back there. Now we have that multimatic tailgate or the multi-flex tailgate. So you can actually lower this upper section and pull this backrest up, so you can either use this as a workbench or you can have this backstop if you have some longer items that you need to put through. Or you can push on the lower button where you have the normal tailgate. Now from here, we'll take a look at the bed where this model has this spray-in bed liner. There's also several tie-down hooks and some power outlets. So you can tie down any items, you can hook up any items that you'd like to. There's also a handle over on the driver's side because you can push that top button again where we did this same process, but now with it in the down position there, you have a step to easily enter and exit. Now you can also go another step where you just close that section there with the back up. And now if you have to have the tailgate down, you still have an extended bed stop there for any items that you need to place. So really cool to see that feature. I think it's one of the best tailgates that you can get in today's market. Now as we work our way to the interior, really nice design for this particular truck. Obviously you have different options to go with, but there's the trim accent there. We have the speaker, plenty of space in the lower section. And then the two-tone design works its way to these back seats. Now you do get storage behind the backrest, so you can open that up. You also have the option of flipping up the entire bottom where you can place in a lot of items. So if you have some larger items that may not go in the bed, you can easily do that and then pull that down when you want passengers. There's also the grab handle here there to help me enter, where at 5'10", I have plenty of space. There's no bump in the middle either, so almost a nice flat surface. You have cup holders, heated rear seats, auxiliaries, and climates. And then I have 4 or 5 inches of headroom, so you can be taller than me and still fit comfortably in the back seat. Now there's also the armrest with the cup holders. You have the power sliding rear glass, and then plenty of glass to provide you with visibility and storage pockets for additional storage. So it is what you would expect for a full-size truck like this. There's the Bose audio, along with your mirror adjustments, memory seating controls, and then all of the window controls as well. And then power operating front seats with that same two-tone design. As we jump up into this ZR2 now, we'll start it back up. We have the leather steering wheel. This is also equipped with paddle shifters on both sides, and you get volume and tuning on the back side as well. Now on the left side, there's all of your cruise control settings, heated steering wheel, distance pacing. Right side, you get Bluetooth and voice commands, and these arrows to go through the digital gauge cluster. So you can use the arrows to go left and right, so you can get in through all this information. There's also the display layout, so you can change how you would like to view this information, just depending on what suits you best. You can control the left side, the right side, and the lower gauges as well, which is very nice to see. You have some more vitals that you can scroll through, just some general information. So you can pull all of that up as needed, and then we are back to the music. Now on the left side, there's your headlight adjustments. You have a bed light, so you can use that as needed. There's also dimmer switches, your 4-wheel drive selector, different driving modes. So you can go from normal to sport, there's off-road and terrain. There's also a trailer mode, so you can push on that for tow and haul. You have the e-brake, even the head-up display. So currently it's just showing miles per hour. I can pull up the distance pacing, the compass, as well as pitch and roll degrees for the steering wheel, and then back to just miles per hour. Now there's a little bit of storage up top, and then with the infotainment system, you have a lot more to go through. You can get into your trailer system, pull up your phone when you have that paired, bring up the navigation in full screen, you can get into your music, and then on the home screen here, you have several icons that you can get into. Your climate controls, you have your phone, all of the cameras, which we can take a look at now, where you have forward and rear facing, you have some top-down views, you can even use these side view mirrors, and then you have the trailer system too. You can also look at the bed with that camera, which is very helpful to monitor all of that. And you do have the split screen, so you can scroll through info on that right side as needed. Now underneath that, there's a physical button to go home, power and volume for the radio. And then with all of the toggles, you have your lane keeping assist, parking sensors, engine start stop. You can also lower the tailgate. There's your hazards and traction control, a downhill assist, and you have the rear locker, or you can do front and rear at the same time. Now underneath that, there's the trailer braking system, and then all of your climates. There's also the heated and ventilated seat adjustments. You have your temperature dials, you can sync these where you'd like the air to go. It's all laid out very nicely, along with some auxiliaries on that right side. You also have plenty of storage space, along with 2 cup holders. With the shifter, we can put this into reverse, where you get that camera system, and then obviously you have drive, and then you can go through that camera system just as easily. There's also the low range gear, which allows you to use the paddle shifters as needed. There's wireless charging right in the middle, which you can clearly see now. Some more auxiliaries, plenty of storage in the armrest. There's also side storage bins. And then you get 2 glove boxes. Smaller one up top and the normal one down below. There's garage door buttons on the rear view mirror. You have your dome lights and then adjustments for the sunroof. Sunshade is manual adjusting, and then there's the controls for the sliding rear glass. And here's a look at visibility. It's not all that hard to see. All the glass is very large, so you can even see out of that back glass over that left shoulder. As we set off now behind the wheel for the 1500 ZR2, this isn't the first time that we've had this truck, so we have a lot of seat time behind the wheel of this truck. We did a long road trip with the previous one that we had. What I got to do with this ZR2, however, though, was I got to tow for a few miles, so I got to experience what this was like with the camera systems as well. and it did pretty good for about 6,000 pounds being on the back. It's what you would expect for a full-size truck like this, being able to tow, do things that you would want out of a truck like this. But over the last week or so that I've had this, it's been really nice. Now, if you're new to the channel, I've owned a few Toyota Tacomas. I've never owned a full-size truck, even though I have a lot of seat time driving them. I think this would be something cool at some point when I need the extra space. It is definitely much more spacious, especially up front, but for your backseat passengers especially, that's where you can have full-size adults fitting comfortably and being able to utilize the back more so in this than in a mid-size truck. The only downside to this truck is just how big it is for parking situations. I like going off-road. This isn't a truck that I would take off-road because of its size. So there's positives and negatives to mid-size versus the full-size here, but I do like the size of it and what it has to offer. Now, it's also been a really comfortable truck to drive as well. Out on the highway, just normal driving like I am right now, it's been great. So I really haven't had any issues with it. And then if we put it into low range gear, we can use these paddle shifters. Not something you'd really want to use. This is the first time that I've tried them out for on camera here, but they seem to do pretty okay. You would use those more for towing if you need to hold a gear, situations like that. They are there if you need to use them, but this is a quick truck. You also have a diesel option that you can go with as well, just depending on which one is going to suit you best. But I will say, with the size of this truck, this is something that you need to kind of really learn, not how to drive, but where to look when you are driving this. This is something that I've had to monitor where I'm parking. It's also something I've had to monitor forward-facing visibility. With the hood bulge here, over that passenger side, I have had a few cars that if I didn't see them beforehand, I wouldn't have known that they were there. Because this truck is so tall, you kind of have a blind spot over that front corner. But aside from that, if this is something that you truly need to use its capabilities of, that's just something, a part of driving this that you'll get used to, and knowing where to look and when to look, things like that. But it's a great truck. I love how kind of luxury focused it is. For a pickup truck, you're really getting something that you can daily drive. What's interesting though too is I read an article the other day that talked about pickup truck drivers and how they use them. It was saying how the majority of pickup truck drivers and owners use their truck to tow or haul once or twice a year, which I find as a kind of a crazy stat if that is true. But my counter argument to that would be people who buy sports cars who don't take them to the track. I will be owning another pickup truck, and I have a sports car myself. I do kind of a mix of everything, but to the point of that article, if you're buying a truck like this, I do hope you're using it to tow or use the bed space for something. But it's also on what the owner is going to enjoy and buy. If you want a big truck, this is what you're going to enjoy daily driving. All the power to you. You know, whatever you want to spend your money on is what you are going to buy. And we'll put it back into the low range setting here where we can adjust the gears, and we'll go to second gear and give it an acceleration. And I will say it sounds good. It's got plenty of power for the size and weight of this truck. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the 1500 ZR2. You definitely sit very high up, and hopefully you can tell on camera with the hood bulges there how you could have that blind spot on that passenger side. But aside from that, it is pretty easy to see all around. You have the camera system, which is incredibly helpful, and so it's not all that bad. It's just something that you have to get used to. But it's a nice seating position. It is something that I could see daily driving. That's what I like about most modern pickup trucks today, is the fact that you can daily drive this. So if you are a pickup truck person, you know, back in the day when it was just something mainly strictly for towing, it wasn't something that you really wanted to daily drive. You just had to use it because it had those capabilities. Now you have a good blend between both, because you can daily drive this and then use its capabilities when you need to. So there's not much else to talk about this aside from it's pretty good on long trips, which we have done in the past, several hours one way with them. And it gives you all those capabilities in a full-size truck like this. It's also not all that bad off-roading. We did take one off the pavement. It was pretty decent for the long wheelbase and obviously the sizing of this truck. So if you need to use those capabilities off the pavement as well, you have the lockers where you can, go through situations like that. So it's got a lot of capabilities for what you should hopefully be using this for. But that's going to wrap it up for the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 ZR2. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.